I am so excited about this topic, which is building your business on the go. So, whether you have a business or you want to have a business, I actually think building your business in small pockets of time as a mom is the way to go, because if you have a day job, you have small pockets of time. If you have multiple children, you have small pockets of time. If you have clients, you have small pockets of time. And even, if you're a stay-at-home mom, you have small pockets of time. So I'm excited to talk about this topic of building your business on the go and enjoying the process, because it is so, so important. I actually thrive in small pockets of time because there's less, time to waste, and you're like, okay, I've got 15 minutes. What's my income producing activity? What am I doing to work on my business, in my business? What am I doing to take care of myself? You can get so much done in small pockets of time, and it really does start to add up. So I'm going to go ahead and invite our guest on here. Jay. Fingers crossed. Give us hashtag live or hashtag replay. Hello.
Oh, okay, hold on, hang on. How do I turn the camera around? There we go. Here's my room. Hi.
I love it. I love it. So cozy.
Oh, oh my God.
I am so excited to talk to you. So, for those that don't know you, welcome Alexis to the Wealthy Mama Show.
Hi.
Woo!
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Of course. So, tell us a little bit about you, and I am excited to get into our topic of building your business on the go.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so my name is Alexis Underwood. I'm a branded website designer, but that's just a snippet of my life. I actually do RV living with my family. We are stationary, but we live in an RV, and I homeschool my two kids who are 5 and 6 now. Have a dog. We eat carnivore diet. I mean, I'm just kind of like I'm a everything non-mainstream kind of person. We do everything a little different. But yeah,
I
I don't,
love that.
I don't know.
No, that's so good. Okay, so RV living, how is it? Tell us everything. Tell us
Okay,
everything.
so honestly, it's really fun. We adjusted. So we went from a 3,000 square foot house on 5 acres into 280 square feet. It was a 28-foot travel trailer. That was 2 years ago now, and it was a huge transition. Obviously, like you go from like this big house to like I have like two kitchen cabinets. Um, but it's really fun. It's such a journey. You learn intentionality in water usage, in like time management, in like just like everything, what is actually valuable to you, what you actually use and want to keep around versus like what's like you genuinely just like don't need sitting in your space because it takes up space.
Yes.
And just all of those things. It's been really fun. It's been a journey. We're now in a 40-foot RV. We've been in that for about a year, and so about 370 something square feet, I think they calculated. We love it. My kids love it. It's very different, but it's great. Honestly, it's been a journey.
Well, and like, what core memories for them growing up? Like, how cool of a
I know.
childhood? Like, how
I know.
cool?
The kids honestly like love it. We get to reorganize their room all the time, which I mean I feel like you do in a house too. But
Yep.
we talk about intentional use of space and what are we using now, what do we need to put away, and they just like it's fun because like the walls are thin. You like hear the coyotes outside at night. The rain is loud when it rains, and so like you feel just so much more. I don't know, it's gonna sound super cheesy, but like one with the world, like we're
Yeah.
in the forest, we literally get to be part of it. It's really fun.
No, I love that. I've been on my own minimalist journey, not the RV level, but the less stuff
Yeah,
that we have, the
yeah,
happier I am.
it's
Like,
true.
it's
It's true.
wild.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
wild.
Isn't it crazy? I
It is.
feel like it genuinely affects your mental health so much, and you don't realize it
Mhm.
until you slowly begin to dabble in it, and then it becomes almost like a healthy addiction. But one
Yes.
of those addictions where you're just like, oh my God, like I gotta get rid of more stuff. Like I know how much it's gonna help me feel better.
Yes.
So
Well, it's
yeah,
something that I work on with a lot of clients because they're like, I want to make more money. I was like, well, let's clear your capacity, because
yes,
in order to
yeah,
allow more blessings in, you need
yes.
to have the time, you need to have the energy, you need to have the space. Like, literally, it is something that
Totally.
people skip over so much. What made you guys want to go to RV living a couple years ago?
Honestly, this was a means to an end at the time. We live in Washington. We would love to move across the country. And at the time, we were sitting on a house that we knew market value was going to start slowing down and or it was going to be hard to sell. And so we were like, we're just going to get out from under it and let's do this temporarily. It was supposed to be like a 6 month thing. Here we are 2 years later, still here in the RV. So, we thought it was going to be one of those like interim things. And it's actually turned out to be something that we actually all really enjoy even more than we had anticipated.
Yeah,
And I know that somewhere along the line, we'll go back to a house and we'll move all the way across the country. But in the meantime, this is just kind of where we're at and it serves our family the best. And yeah,
love that. I
yeah,
love that so much.
yeah.
Were people like you said you're doing life differently? Like, did you get pushback from people in your world near and far, or were people just
I
like,
feel
"Oh,
like
that's
everybody,
Alexis"?
I feel like everybody thinks we're crazy because,
Okay.
because like I homeschool the kids and we eat carnivore diet, which is like a whole nother conversation, but like literally for the last 4 months, the only thing I've eaten is meat product, and a little bit of dairy. And so like, I mean, we do a lot of things unusual. I'm kind of the black sheep of the family anyway, so I'm kind of used to that side eye. But yeah, everybody was like, you're doing what? Like, are your kids gonna be okay? Like, are they gonna be happy? Are you guys all right? And we're like, yeah, actually, like, we're thriving.
I love that. I
So
love that.
yeah, but I mean, you know what? You learn to, I don't know, what do they say? Dance to the beat of your own drum. And I don't know, just have fun with it.
I love that. Well, and like I love the saying, like, in order to get something different, you've got to
Yeah,
do something different. And so you
yeah,
guys were
it's
desiring
true.
different life. And so I would love to talk about like how do you fit your business into those small pockets of time and that small space.
Yeah.
So like what are your hacks and how are you continuing to grow your business?
Yeah. So, as far as time management goes, I do get up really early. I know this is not for everybody, so I totally get that. And I realize this is maybe not the best recommendation for all the people listening, but, my husband gets up at 4 in the morning to go to work. And so I see him off in the morning and then I get a couple hours of work in the morning before my kids wake up. And for me, as much as I'm like super groggy and don't want to be awake at that time, it does allow me those uninterrupted times to think. And it just like lets me have that wake up time in the morning by myself without the stimulation of like toddlers and all the enthusiasm and all the need for snacks and things. And so that has been really helpful for me because I can get work done and I can kind of like wake up and be in a good mood and it helps in that regard. Um and as far as business goes though, because we have limited space and because our internet's a little funky because, we're in the forest and all of these kinds of things, I have just learned to adapt my business. And what I do in my business looks different than other people. Like some people hop on calls all the time. I don't because I just don't have the capacity. I don't have the space. I don't have the quiet room to retreat to. And my internet's a little finicky, so sometimes that doesn't work. So for me, I do phone calls or I will go out on the weekend and do calls over the weekend at a coffee shop or things like that. And I know that's not what everybody does. Some people have a studio space, but I've just learned like don't force what's not working for obviously like in every area of your life, don't force what's not working for you, figure something else out. And it doesn't have to be the thing that everybody does. It could be, whatever works for you.
Yeah, love that so much. And it's such a good reminder because I feel like that's the whole point of owning your own business is to
Yeah.
do it your way, pave your own path. And
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
it's it's so interesting how we like fall back into like, well, this person's doing it this way, so I should do it this way. And it's like,
Yeah.
but does that
Yeah.
actually like feel good to you? Like, do you like that?
Right, right. I know, constantly remind. I mean, I feel like it's at least like a once a week thing. I have to sit back and be like, hold on, do I still align with the way that things are going?
Mhm.
Because it's so easy to get caught up in, just get caught up in something that might not be serving you well, and take ownership over that and be like, this is my business. I have control over this. Like, if something needs to change, I'm able to do that, and
Yeah,
go for it.
I love that. So do you work throughout the day or is it like only in that morning time and then it's like full on mom mode? Like what's typically your MO?
I work throughout the day. I will be super honest. I am not like a fun play mom, and I'll own that. I don't really
Yeah.
want to sit down and play Magna Tiles for 3 hours, and so
Yeah.
I will facilitate play. I like to set them up. I like to give them activities, but then I kind of just want to like facilitate and then do my own
Yeah.
thing. So I do work throughout the day because I'm a designer. A lot of that time is just me sketching or
Mhm.
creating graphics or things like that. So when I set the kids up for art, then I do art next to them or vice versa. And so I try to kind of integrate it into my life. So I do have time where meal times and things like that where like I'm obviously not working, but throughout the day, I'll pick my phone up and I'll be working on something and just kind of fit it into where it feels comfortable.
Yeah, I love that. Well, and I found the small pockets of time actually work so much better
Yeah.
because I daydream of having a whole day to work my business, and then I
Right.
randomly get a whole day, and I'm like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Like, it's just too much. It's too much time. It's not like normal to
Yeah.
have that. And so
Yeah.
I actually don't even know what to do. So it's
Like the
like small
urgency
pockets of time.
is not there. Yeah. So you're like, what? Wait a
Yeah.
minute.
So there's definitely that balance between like small pockets of time, but being realistic of like, I can't do 500 things in a 15-minute window.
Yes.
So like I love that you used the word intentionality because that's really how you can create such a peaceful, thriving business
Yeah.
is that intentionality and being proactive. And it's not always easy to do as a mom though,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you're in reactive mode a lot. And so to get you in
Totally.
proactive mode in
Yeah.
your business, and it's not always easy.
Yeah. Yeah. You definitely have to learn kind of how to do the, for example, like I batch my content. I can't always batch a whole month at a time, but I can batch ideas throughout the day that pop into my head. I put them in a specific spot and then I kind of add to them as I'm able. And then when I do sit down and I have 20 minutes and I can create a couple graphics, then I've already like kind of taken those steps to get there. And so, yeah, just kind of creating systems and frameworks and things that support you in the I have 10 minutes kind of
Yes.
lifestyle,
Yeah,
um, versus, if you were sitting in an office all day kind of situation.
for sure. Do you feel like your life before is drastically different than like your life now? Like if you were to like compare the human that you were then, like do you feel different? Like
Yes, I think I'm just more, I mean, intentional is such a buzzword, but it does fit me well. I feel like I've just become so much more aware. I'm aware of my time usage more. I'm aware, because of business, because of our lifestyle, for all of these different reasons, over the last 3 or 4 years. And I feel like a lot of people have gone through since COVID,
mhm.
a lot of people have gone through massive transformations in, what they value, what works for their family, um, how they want to structure their business, to be most effective for them, all of those kinds of things. But I do feel like I'm just more aware and intentional. And before it was just kind of like, okay, like I'm along for the ride in life, in my business. And now it's like I feel a lot more in control, and I have that power to make the transitions when needed and to make those decisions that are going to allow me to serve myself best, to serve my clients best, to serve my family best, and all of that kind of stuff.
I love that so much. So
Yeah.
somebody that is not feeling so intentional, what would be like your advice to them where they're like, "Oh, I crave that peacefulness and calmness."
Yeah. My advice would be to just take a pause. Like, even if it's 15 minutes, even if it's 5 minutes, like, just stop, like, step away, go in the bathroom, like, somewhere where you can literally just take space and just stop and be and think about, like, what are your priorities? What are your values? Where do you envision yourself this week
Mhm.
and in the next month and in the next 5 years? And then take all of those action steps according to that vision and not according to the immediate urgencies that are happening, like, hey, I need a snack. Obviously, like, you could do those and like you have to do those, but if we don't think about the other things that are coming and the end goals, I feel like that sounds so simple, but truly, if you put your focus on the things that you truly value, like genuinely truly value, then you're able to kind of force that trajectory in the direction you actually want to go. And rather than getting like led by life, you kind of are able to steer towards the direction that you want to be, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
No, I love that so much. And I've noticed, like, I love the Taylor Swift song, like, "Hi, it's me, I'm the problem." Like, if we keep
Yeah.
saying, if we keep saying yes to so many things and commitments
Yeah.
and tasks, like, I've like to your point of like the time capacity, like that's something that I on my minimalist journey have been really paying attention to, of like having a massive to-do list is not a trendy thing that I want to be
Yeah.
a part of. Like,
Yes,
you know,
totally.
and like there's always going to be things to do, but not to the point
Yeah.
where you're so overwhelmed that you can never keep up.
Yes.
Like, I just, I don't want to subscribe to that. It doesn't
Yeah.
feel good, you
Yes.
know?
Yeah,
So,
I think we're in a generation where we a lot of us have watched our. Yeah, I have a narcissistic mom, so I feel like maybe this doesn't resonate with everybody, but like
yeah.
I watched, the generation before me just kind of be like frayed and burned out and pissed off and just like not in this beautiful homeostasis of like, mom's thriving, family's thriving, everybody's thriving. It's like, no, mom's burned out and pissed off and annoyed, and then the family's thriving, and like, no, like there's a balance here, but it requires drawing boundaries, and it requires being intentional about like what you're going to make space for in your life.
Well, and boundaries are healthy. Like, and it's
Yeah.
not always easy to set them and enforce them. I find it's harder to enforce them.
Yes.
But once
Yeah.
you can get over that like initial like hump of enforcing them,
Yeah.
it's protection. It's being, again, it's
Yeah.
being proactive, so that way you don't overextend yourself, and then you're the one like burnout, and
Totally.
no one benefits from
Yeah.
a burnout mom, you know.
Yeah. Exactly. Totally. Yep.
But it requires us to step up, and that's, I think, a big deal. So what have you got going on
Absolutely.
in your world? How can people connect with you? Like, do you just take one-on-one clients? Like, tell us more about like your business side of like what you do and how
Yeah.
people can work with you and all those
Yeah.
things.
So I help small businesses, down to earth small businesses, anybody that feels like they're free spirited or does something different than the norm. Um, I help them stand out, get noticed, like really show up as themselves, be personality driven, and really truly shine in that space and own their own kind of, unique whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you can work with me one on one. That is a high ticket service for more established businesses. But I also have a space called the Greenhouse Academy where you can come in and you kind of get a vault of courses. You get a group aspect. And I'm going to have a cohort starting in a few weeks where you come into my space and I teach you my systems. I teach you my process. I teach you my approach and strategy to truly beginning to stand out, to truly creating that homeostasis in your life, in your business, in your brand, all of that kind of stuff. I feel like I'm not really like explaining this very well, but you can find me on my Instagram account. There's a lot more information there.
Yeah,
And yeah,
I love the name. That's so fun, and I think it's
thank you.
important to offer a variety of offerings that, depending on where somebody's at, they can
Yeah.
like jump into your world. So I love that you've got some options.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, I want to make space for people. I remember being an early business owner and I was like, I cannot afford a $4,000 investment. I just want to dabble. I just want to learn. Like, I want to be a fly on the wall and I want to learn. And I have like
Yes.
$50 a month or, whatever that
Yeah.
was at the time when I was starting. And I was like, why aren't people creating this kind of offers? And I understand now as a business owner why there might be certain reasons that wasn't something that I could find so easily, but I wanted to really create a space for people to be able to come in and ask the questions and be in my space and be able to be a fly on the wall in somebody else's business and learn all the things and kind of have access to like everything so they can figure it out and then have that support. So that's kind of what this is.
I
Low
love that.
ticket and just a space for people to come and be together.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. So
Yeah.
is Instagram the best way to connect with you?
Yes.
Okay.
Instagram is a fantastic place to get to connect with me. I do have a website. Obviously, you can get that through the link in my bio. But I would say Instagram is where I hang out a lot.
Yeah.
So definitely send me a DM. I'm not one of those like don't be a lurker.
Yeah.
You're welcome to actually like send me a message. I will respond to you. And I love having conversations. So that's a great spot to find me.
That's so good. Well, you're such a breath of fresh air. I always love to end interviews with like, what's like something that has really helped you that you've learned in business that you're like, oh my gosh, if I could just tell the whole world this piece of advice, that like you're tried and true, it's just like really supported you in your business.
Honestly, again, this is going to sound cliche, but literally just be yourself. Like,
Yeah.
do what works for you. And I
Yeah.
feel like that is I spent so much time trying to figure out what everybody else is doing because it looks like they're successful. So maybe I can match that in my own business.
Yep.
And it wasn't until I really like found what, whoops, sorry, my son's moving my tripod.
You're okay.
It wasn't until I found like what truly resonated for me, what truly served me best, and what truly like felt aligned for me that I began to really flourish and thrive. And I think people started to see that, even though in my mind I wasn't really doing anything different on the outside. I think people could really tell that I was energetically aligned for the first time when I really kind of hit that point. And so I just want to encourage you, like, if it's not working, pivot. And if it is something that you're just trying to match other people because you feel like they're thriving and you want that, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with, like, a lot of us have similar structured businesses, but like really lean into like intuitively what's going to serve you as a person, what's going to be something that you feel comfortable and confident showing up doing. I'm an introvert. You would probably know that from my content, but like I'm an introvert. I don't do a whole lot of video content because that just doesn't serve me. I know
Yeah.
that works really well for a lot of people. I still have a thriving business without having to do that, but I did kind of force myself to do it for a while and it just did not work.
Yes.
And it wasn't aligned for me. And so, just learning to figure out what works well for you and what doesn't. And that's okay. And be okay with that. And, kind of run with that.
Yeah. Well, and I love that. And sometimes you have to try to like see how it feels, and then
Yeah.
you're like, ooh, do I like it, do I not like it, do I just need to do
Yeah.
it more because I'm a beginner? So it's like that discernment is key too. So I love
Yeah.
it so much. I
Yeah.
love it. Well, I
Totally.
know you're super busy. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Please connect with Alexis. You are just such a sweetheart, and I'm so grateful for you and your time and your advice. I think this was a perfect beginning to the summer of just like be intentional, no matter if you're living in an RV or, a 3,000 square foot home or whatever it may be. Like, we all deserve more peace as a mom and not waiting till our kids are older. So I just love that you've, set that in place early on, and it's only going to continue to serve your family. So you're such a huge inspiration.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It was
Yeah,
wonderful to speak with you this morning.
so good. All right. Well, you enjoy your day. All right. Bye, mama.
Bye.